Hello everyone and welcome to another lesson. Today we are going to talk about solids and liquids. So I want you to think about that for a second. What things can be a solid and what things can be a liquid? Now if you don't know what the difference of these two things are, please stay tuned. Alright my little darlings, here we are at the beginning page of solids and liquids. So let's take a look at this first slide here. I want you to just take a moment and think about what you are seeing here, okay? So this does have to do with solids and liquids. So I want you to look at the pan and kind of what is in the pan. Let's take a look at that. All right, so here in the pan, we have some ice. But as you can see, something is happening to the ice. Right here along the bottom, it's turning back into water. Whoopsies. Okay, and then it looks kind of hazy, like right around in here. If you look at that, it kind of looks blurry, maybe. All right, we're going to call this steam or water vapor, but I'm going to write the word steam here. So here we have water in three forms. This is called states of matter. So the ice is a solid. That means it's hard. It has a shape. And even when you break it, it still has a shape. The water is a liquid. That means it does not have a shape, but it will take the shape of anything that you put it in. And then steam is going to be a gas. Gas also does not have a shape, and it's similar to air. Okay, so here we have three forms of matter. We have a solid, we have a liquid, and then we have a gas. Let's take a look at some new vocabulary. Read these with me. Liquid, gas, solid, shape, matter, flow. Let's take a look at what each of these words mean. Up here we have the word matter. Matter is something you can touch or feel. It's a solid, liquid, or gas. So take a look at this picture here if you need an example. A shape is an object and their surface, edges and or curves. The shape of the car made it move really fast. So shape is something that a solid is. A solid has to be a shape. Flow. When I think of the word flow, I think of lava because it flows steadily and continuously down the mountain, right? So it has a nice, continuous, and steady flow. The lava flows down the mountain. A solid is an object that stays the same shape. The ice cube was solid before it started to melt. But even as the ice cube was melting, it still had a shape until it turned into a liquid. A liquid is an object that is not solid. It flows and can be poured, like water. The water poured from the glass into the sink. And then down here we have the word gas. Not a liquid or a solid. It's like air. We use a gas stove to cook our meals. And if you're cooking beans, you also might produce some gas later in the form of a toot. Now it's time for a story. So today we are going to look at the science topic of solids, liquids, and gases. So 3 states of matter. And we're going to use water because water can take all 3 forms. So it's a really easy example of what the 3 states of matter are. Then after we're done with the story, we'll answer the questions. Okay, so here we are. We have a glass of water. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 states of matter here. Yes, we have solids all around here. The lemon is a solid, the glass is a solid, the table is a solid, but let's just talk about the water. Okay, so in the water, we have ice, that's a solid. In the glass, we have water as a liquid. And then along the outside, if you can see this, you might see some water clinging to the outside of the glass. So kind of sticking there, and then it might drip down the side. Does anybody know what that is when water sticks to the side of the glass and then it flows down the outside? That's what we call condensation, okay? So in a way, that is gas, because what happens is that there is water in the air all around us. It's called water vapor. It's a gas. But when that water vapor gets to be around an object that is cold, like a glass, it begins to lose its heat and it gets heavy. So now it starts to stick to the glass. And as more water vapor sticks, it begins to flow down the side and it turns into a liquid. Okay, so here we do have all 3 states of matter around this cold glass. Now, I am going to read the story first, or the article first, and then I want you to read it along with me as I read it again. So first, my turn. Water comes in 3 forms: liquid, solid, and gas. Water can be a liquid. It flows. It has no shape of its own. A liquid takes the shape of its container. Water can be a solid. Solids have their own shape. Water in its solid form is called ice. Water can be a gas. Gas has no shape. Water in its gas form is called vapor. You can see liquid water after it changes to a solid. Pour water into a cup. Put the cup into the freezer. The next day, the water will have turned into ice. Ice can change back to liquid water. Observe this. Take ice cubes from the freezer. Put a few of them on a plate. They will melt and turn into liquid water. Heat can change liquid water to a gas. What happens when a pot of water boils? Bubbles begin to form. Then the water starts to evaporate. You can often see the gas escape as water vapor. Water vapor also can turn back into a liquid. That happens when the vapor loses heat. The process of water vapor becoming liquid is called condensation. Now, it is your turn to read along with me. Begin. Water comes in 3 forms: liquid, solid, and gas. Water can be a liquid. It flows. It has no shape of its own. A liquid takes the shape of its container. Water can be a solid. Solids have their own shape. Water in its solid form is called ice. Water can be a gas. Gas has no shape. Water in its gas form is called vapor. You can see liquid water after it changes to a solid. Pour water into a cup. Put the cup into the freezer. The next day, the water will have turned into ice. Ice can change back to a liquid water. Observe this. Take ice cubes from the freezer, put a few of them on a plate. They will melt and turn into liquid water. Heat can change liquid water to a gas. What happens when a pot of water boils? Bubbles begin to form. Then the water starts to evaporate. You can often see the gas escape as water vapor. Water vapor also can turn back into a liquid. That happens when the vapor loses heat. The process of water vapor becoming liquid is called condensation. Great job following along with that. Now it's time to take a look at our questions. The first question says, what is, you know what? We're going to just jump over to the other questions here. There we go. How many forms does water come in? Is it A, 3, B, 2, C, 1? Correct. 3. Water comes in 3 forms, a solid, a liquid, and a gas. Let's take a look at question 2. What does this article describe? Is it A, food that can be cooked in a pot of water? B, liquid water changing into a gas? C, steps you can take to observe condensation? What does this article describe? B, correct. Liquid water changing into a gas. Number 3, read this paragraph from the article. You can see liquid water after it changes to a solid. Pour water into a cup. Put the cup into the freezer. The next day, the water will have turned into ice. What can you conclude from this information about the difference in temperature between water as a liquid and water as a solid? So this means, what could you tell me about the difference in temperature between water and ice? A, water as a solid is colder than water as a liquid. B, water as a solid is warmer than water as a liquid. C. Water as a solid and water as a liquid are almost the same temperature. A. Correct. Water as a solid is colder than water as a liquid. Water as ice is much colder than water as a liquid. Number 4. Based on the information in the article, what is probably true about gas in a container? A. Gas in a container will cause the container to melt. B. Gas in a container will take the shape of the container. C. Gas in a container will turn into ice after 1 day. B. Correct. When you put gas into a container, it will take the shape of the container. For example, when you blow into a balloon, your air that you blow into the balloon will take the shape of the balloon. Number 5. What is the main idea of this article? And that means, what was the idea? What was the author trying to get you to understand by writing this article? A. If you pour water into a cup and put it in the freezer, the water will turn into ice. B. Water has 3 forms and can change from one to another. C. When water is a liquid, it flows and takes the shape of its container. This one is B. Water has 3 forms and can change from one to another. Though it is true that when you pour water into a cup and put it in the freezer, it will turn to ice. And when water is a liquid, it does flow and take the shape of any container that you put it in. However, the main idea of this article, what the author wants you to know, more than anything, is that water has 3 forms and can take the shape, and can change from one to another. Number 6. Read this paragraph from the article. Heat can change liquid water to a gas. What happens when a pot of water boils? Bubbles begin to form. Then the water starts to evaporate. You can often see the gas escape as water vapor. What does the word evaporate mean here? Is it A, turn into gas, B, turn into a solid, C, turn into a liquid? It's A, turn into a gas. That gas is water vapor or steam. Number 7. Choose the answer that best completes this sentence. A solid does not take the shape of its container. It has its own shape. Is that A, so, B, because, C, but? Correct. B is because. A solid does not take the shape of its container because a solid already has its own shape. Number 8. What form of water has its own shape? Water as a solid has its own shape. You could have also said ice. Describe water as a gas. It says the answers may vary, meaning you could have given different answers for this, but an example would be that water as a gas has no shape. You could have also said that it's like air. What it turns into steam. Any of those answers would have been fine as long as you could support it from the text, from what we read. Number 10 says, contrast water as a solid to water as a gas. It means, what are the differences between those two? Compare them. Support your answer with evidence from the article. Now, this is obviously going to be a long answer, so if you do not want to do it, don't worry about it for now. Great job following along and answering these questions on this article. Let's get back to our slide. Now we're going to look at some vocabulary here. We're going to match up the pictures with one of the words in the middle column. So the first picture is a picture of a rock, and there is an A behind my picture there. So what is a rock? Is it a solid, shape, liquid, gas, matter, flow? A rock is a solid. Very good. Take a look at B. What is a puddle of water? That would be a liquid. Very good. Number C. When you fart or toot, that is what? That is gas. Number D, letter D, excuse me. An oval, triangle, star, square, or diamond is considered a shape. Good. E, liquids, solids, and gases. Matter. Good job. F, the lava moving down the side of a mountain. Flow. Excellent job. Now let's take a look at some sounds. So I am going to give you some words, and I want you to tell me what sound is the same in all of those words, okay? So listen carefully, even repeat these words with me, all right? Here we go. The first word is wand, wash, water. What sound did you hear that is the same in all of those words? Listen again. Wand, wash, water. If you said wa, good for you. Now listen to these three. Repeat if you wish. Swab, swat, swallow. What sound is the same in all of those words? Listen again. Swab, swat, swallow. If you said wa again, congratulations, because you are correct. Now, before we move on, I do want to make some notes here. If you look at the second letter, you will see A. As you know, A says A, and A says a. But A can also say two more sounds. So let's take a look at those now. The first one, A, says its name, A. So I'm going to put that macron above the top to let you know that A says its name. A says a. This is called a breve, and we put that above the A to let you know it says a sound. Another sound of A is something that we call a schwa. That means A is saying a different sound that's unexpected. In this case, most of the time it says like in away and about. And the last sound that A makes says aw, like in wand, wash, and water. So let's blend some of these words together. In our first example, we're going to say wa, n, d. Then we blend it together. Wand. Let's try the next one. Wa, n, t. Want. Wa, ch. Watch. Wa, n, d, wander. Excellent job reading those with me. Now, let's take a look at some more. Now you give it a try on your own. Let's see if you got these words correct. Swab, swat, swallow. Nice job. Now it's time to read some more words. Read along with me, please. Wand, want, wash, water, watch, wasp, wander, swab, swat, swallow. Now let's read the sentences. Please let me read first, and then we can read it together. The first one says, they watch the wizard swat a wand. Now let's read it together. They watch the wizard swat a wand. Great job. Now let's take a look at the second one. Let me read it first. The wasps want to wash in water. Now it's your turn to follow along. The wasps want to wash in water. Great job following along. Now it's time to spell some words. Okay? So this is a little different than the spelling that you might do at school. Okay? I typically give some clues sometimes. Sometimes I leave everything out like this. But in the first one, the word is wand. If you look at this first one here, what letter is missing in the word wand? N. Very good. In this one here, we have wasp. Wasp. W. Oh, that's a terrible W. Let's try that again. W. A. Good. In the next one, we have, oops, watch. Watch. W. A. T. C. H. Great job. In this one here, we have water. Water. W A T E R. Great job, guys. In the middle one, swab. Swab. S W A B. Great job. And this one that's completely blank is swat. Like I swat a fly. S W A T. SWAT. The one here on the bottom is want. Like I want to go outside and play. Want. W A N T. The middle bottom here, wash. Like I wash my hands. Wash. W A S H. Great job. And our last one here is swallow. I swallow the water. S W A L L O W. Swallow. Now, let's go back and read through each one of these words. Wand, wasp, watch, water, swab, swat, want, wash, swallow. Great job spelling, guys. You're on a roll today. Now we have one last read. So let's put everything we've learned together. And let's read a story about solids, liquids, and gases. So this book is called Matter Comes in All Shapes. All right, my little ones. We are going to read this book that says Matter Comes in All Shapes. You can just listen or you can follow along with me if you can. Let's begin. What is matter? Pour milk to make cookie dough. The milk is made of matter. Touch the bowl. The bowl is made of matter. Smell the cookies baking. It is matter you smell. Matter is in everything that has mass and takes up space. Is all matter the same? Matter can be a liquid, such as milk. It has mass and takes up space. Liquids are matter that cannot hold their shape. They need a container. Matter can be a solid, such as the bowl. It has mass and takes up space. Matter can be a gas, such as air. The smell of the cookies is part of the air, a mixture of gases. It has mass and takes up space. How do you know that gas takes up space? Blow into a balloon 3 times. Your breath is made of air. Now feel the balloon. That is how much space 3 breaths of air take up. The balloon keeps the air from spreading out. Gases expand to fill the space. Is your chair made of matter? Can you feel it? Does it take up space and have mass? Yes, your chair is made of matter. A chair is a solid. Solids hold their shape. What about water for washing? Does the water take up space and have mass? Yes, the water is made of matter. What isn't matter? What isn't made of matter? The light coming in your window is not matter. It is energy. Energy does not have mass or take up space. Is your cookie matter? Now it is time to eat the cookie. You pick it up and feel it has mass. Is the cookie made of matter? Show what you know. Number 1, can you think of a liquid other than milk or water? Is that liquid made of matter? My answer is coffee. Is it matter? Yes. Number 2, how can you use a balloon to show gas taking up space? Number 3, what is not made of matter? In our book, we said light. Can you think of another thing that isn't matter? Hint. All right, let's head back to our PowerPoint. We have 2 more things to do. Well, 1 more here, but 2 sentences. So we need to put the sentences in order. When you're writing or speaking, you really need to make sure that your words are in order so that the person that's listening or reading what you wrote or spoke can understand what you were trying to say. So in the top example, it says, is liquid water a? That doesn't make any sense. But if you look at 2 of the words, one of them begins with a capital and one ends with a period. So I know that water has to be my first word and liquid must be my last. Let's try to put this together. What do you think the first word is? Water. Correct. What is the second word? Is. Third word? And the last word is liquid. Good. Let's read this sentence together. Water is a liquid. And that's true. Let's take a look at the second one. Matter, milk is made of the. I don't quite understand what this sentence is trying to tell me. Can you help me put it back together? The milk is made of matter. Excellent. Read that one more time. The milk is made of matter. And that is also true. Great job today, guys. I will be right back. All right, my little darlings, I hope that you enjoyed that lesson. I really enjoy learning about science, and I hope that you enjoy learning about science as well. I will try to make more videos in the future. I know it's been a while since I've recorded one for everybody like this, so I will try to keep doing that as much as I can. And before we leave, please remember that you are special, and you know how, by just your being you. There's no one in the whole world exactly like you, and that's you yourself. And people can like you exactly as you are. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.